Alright, y'all. I just wanted to yap for a bit about the recent news of PlayStation no longer supporting physical disc in like what I think January 2028. It's gonna be a decent time from now, but they announced officially that they're not gonna be making disc anymore. And super cold take, I think that sucks. That obviously does suck. And the thing that pisses me off the most is that it's completely avoidable. Like, they swear they can't fit games onto disc anymore, and they totally could. First off, optimization when it comes to storage with games has just completely gone downhill. Like, there's no, like, for example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is like 150 gigs on PC. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is 159 gigs on PC, and for the Nintendo Switch 2, they crammed that into 90 gigabytes, and it's still like it doesn't even look that bad. Like, you're telling me they could at least chopped off like 50 gigs for the PC version if they just spent more time optimizing the storage. Quick little note when it comes to making the game smaller for the PC version in specific. I actually take that back. I'm talking about PlayStation version, because the PC version for, you know, like I said, FF7 Rebirth, it could definitely probably be smaller, but I do understand that PC versions of games have to have all the different like textures for like low settings, high settings, medium settings, the different resolutions. PC has so many options with graphics. I can understand how that can maybe take a lot more gigs, but when it comes to consoles nowadays, they usually only, this is a new thing too, but they usually only have like one or two different graphic settings you can choose from. So you could definitely make the game smaller for PlayStation. 100% you can make the game smaller for PlayStation. And maybe fit it on one disc, but definitely fit it on like 2 or 3 discs. 100%. And there's probably so many other games out there that can do the same thing, but they just don't, because they're just like, people running terabytes of this, terabytes of that. Why even bother anymore? When they could totally do that, and a lot of games could probably fully fit on the disc. And even then, why did we stop doing double disc or triple disc? Why did we stop doing that? I understand it would cost more money, but when it comes to physical media, I'm pretty sure people would be willing to spend like $10 or $20 more for the physical version if it came with like 2 or 3 discs and the entire game was fully on those discs. You didn't have zero downloads, zero nothing. You could just play the game off of the disc entirely. People would totally be down for that if it meant that we still had some sort of way to physically own the games. People would be willing to do that. A company that is doing that right now is Nintendo, but Nintendo's not doing it the way I want it. You know, Nintendo's just charging $10 more for the physical cartridge, but it's still just one cartridge. I'm talking about charging more money because there's more disc. Like, that makes sense. Just charging $10 more because fuck it is kind of stupid, but yeah. That would make total, and then you make the digital version, you know, the normal priced version. I think people would be fine with that. You don't need to completely kill off disc. And I think there's a rumor, I'm not sure if it's 100% like true, but there's a rumor that Xbox is trying to figure out a way to transfer your disc into a digital copy. You know, that isn't like, that's if, you know, this doesn't get stopped, which unfortunately it probably won't. You know, I don't think everybody's gonna unanimously unite to stop Sony from, you know, cutting off physical media. I don't think people are gonna be able to unite like that, especially when a big ass game like GTA 6 is coming out for PlayStation and Xbox. Like, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, let's stop supporting PlayStation, let's stop buying PlayStations, let's stop buying their games. But then GTA 6 drops, and that's gonna be a real tough crowd to try to convince to not buy GTA 6. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just, I think Sony did that on purpose too. Like, it's gonna be hard to convince people to protest against Sony when GTA 6 is dropping in a couple months. People just aren't really, and then by the time GTA 6 is out and everyone's playing it, everyone's gonna already forget about this until it's already too late, which sucks. But in that future, or the most likely future, when discs are completely gone, I do like the idea of at least let me be able to transfer my disc games into a digital copy. You know, maybe once I put it in and it fully transfers, the disc that I own is just a piece of plastic, just trash. If I put that disc in any other console, it just won't do anything. I think that's fair. And then I now own that game digitally. That's like, I hopefully PlayStation does that. You know, if you're gonna make all these people bought physical versions of a PS5 so they can put their disc in, they probably have so many physical games, and they just can't, like, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to play them, when you should let us be able to transfer it digitally, so that assumingly we would be able to play it on a PlayStation 6. I'm assuming a PS6 would be backwards compatible. You know, the only console that isn't really backwards compatible with fully is like PlayStation 3, and that's because digital storefronts and all that were like a first brand new thing at the time, so that makes sense. But PS4 and above should all like damn near be guaranteed backwards compatibility for the foreseeable future. But yeah, the main reason why Sony is doing this, and probably any other game company, you know, including Xbox is probably gonna do it too, it's because of money. It's fucking always because of money. Is because PlayStation makes more money off of you buying games digitally than physically. You know, they take a larger cut, especially for other games that they didn't even make. They take a larger cut. Stores getting cuts, other people getting cuts, other people getting in the way of the money. Making it digitally only makes it so nothing gets in the way between Sony and their fucking dollar bills. And that's why they want it, because, you know, it's like I said, it's 100% doable to try to keep making games on disc. It's just, why would they do that when they make more money off of you buying the game digitally? And obviously it also does just cost money to produce, you know, a box with a disc in it. That just costs more money than just giving you the digital download. And that's the main reason. But yeah, it does suck. That's pretty much all I can say about this topic without going in circles. You know, hopefully it'll change for the better. But I don't, you know, even though Nintendo right now has cartridges available for everything, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo follows with the same thing. Especially since Nintendo uses cartridges, you know? They got away with doing a Nintendo Switch 2 for now, but the next generation, fucking who knows what their console's gonna be. And they might decide that, you know, they don't want to have to rely on cartridges anymore. The shape of the console might not even, like, be proper for cartridges. So they'll probably just go digital only to make it simple. So that's gonna be an issue. So I definitely see Nintendo going full digital also. They just haven't announced it yet. The only good thing that's about full digital though is that it does make backwards compatibility very convenient. But besides that, it does suck though. Like, there should be an option to buy it physically. But yeah, that's about it. Peace out.